Guys. So balancing social events. This could absolutely be a very tricky situation, but it 100% doesn't have to be. It's all about how you plan. It's all about how you go into the social event, and it's all about how you prepare yourself for what you're going to do when you're there, how you're going to set yourself up for success, and what your expectations are for the event. Obviously, there's lots of different social events, ranging from parties, barbecues, to even weekends away. So the best advice I could give is to always plan. So what I've done is I've put together a pretty brief presentation to prepare you for what you should expect to balance your social events successfully without causing any derailment. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and give you your tips. Okay, so first thing, balancing social events. This could be a very slippery slope. And as I said earlier, the best way that you can plan this is to go into it with an open mind and with a concrete plan. Oftentimes, it's not about what you do when you're at the social event, it's how you prepare yourself before you go to the social event. Oftentimes, we tend to reserve our calories during the day, knowing that we are going to have a party, knowing that we're going to a grill out barbecue or event. And oftentimes that ends up causing us to derail. The last thing you want to do is get to that party and be hungry. So best advice right out of the gate is to keep your schedule as normal as possible leading into that event, because you want to treat the day as normal as possible to create that balance. Okay, so first, your mindset should be to enjoy and not to destroy. So often we go into the event with this preconceived notion that we aren't able to do this successfully. So your mission should be that you can do this. And also your mission should be that you are going to enjoy yourself, but you're going to kind of stay within that 80-20 rule. There's often times where you can only have certain things at certain holidays. And of course, you want to enjoy those things, but you shouldn't try to consume as much as you can during that holiday. Holidays, of course, are enjoyable, but those unhealthy habits sometimes can be attached, and so can the people that are at the party that can kind of make you feel guilty if you aren't participating in the unhealthy eating habits. So on average, a holiday can pack anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 calories a day, and that is a true fact. If we put our guard down and we don't set goals and we aren't aware of our intake, those calories can absolutely climb up. So important cooking tips. First of all, going into any holiday, particularly the 4th of July, there's going to be a lot of dips. There's going to be a lot of pasta salads. There's going to be a lot of side dishes. They're going to contain these ingredients: butters, oils, mayos, creams, sugars, and cream cheeses. So you want to really watch for those ingredients, and you want to avoid those. So if you are at a barbecue and you are noticing that there is a healthier version of a potato salad of some sort or an egg salad, but it is just laced with mayonnaise, you know that is not going to be the best choice. Later on in this presentation, I'm going to show you what the average calories are for side salads and side dishes that are prepared with these ingredients. Now, if you are preparing a side salad or a dish with these ingredients, you could easily swap these these ingredients out for healthier versions. And this is something that is very, very easy to do. You can use light versions of these things. You could swap out butter for sugar-free applesauce. You could swap out the oil also for sugar-free applesauce. You could swap out cream cheeses and creams for Greek yogurts, and you will not lose the taste or texture. So that is a big tip. So first three things, mindset matters. Like I said earlier, don't go into the holidays that you're not going to thinking that you're not going to survive, because that right there is setting yourself up for failure. You are taking your past experiences and you are setting yourself up for what you think is going to happen. And in the past, you didn't have the skills and you didn't have the strategies. Now you do. So don't go in there with this fear that you can't succeed. And next, watch the food pushers. They don't mean any harm. And I don't mean to call them food pushers because it does sound like that is a negative title for their name, but Grandma and Aunt Millie are the famous food pushers that do make you feel guilty for not trying their pumpkin pie or their apple strudel. Incidentally, we were at my parents' last night celebrating a late birthday, and boy, is she a food pusher. And it's not because she is trying to sabotage. It's because food pushers oftentimes find pleasure in making others happy by watching them eat the food that they prepared. But you shouldn't feel guilty for saying no. And there's a multitude of ways to be polite about it. You can say, I will try it later. You could say that you're full. You could say that you already tried some and it was delicious. You could simply put it on your plate and take a couple bites, but you shouldn't eat it just because you're feeling guilted into it. And that leads me into the third one. Have it if you want it. If Aunt Millie is presenting you with her famous apple strudel and it is something that you really, really, really want, then have it. But don't have a slice the size of Nebraska. You want to keep your portions appropriate and don't eat until you're full, especially when it comes to desserts. You know, desserts are an interesting phenomenon because they come at a time when we have just eaten and we are usually full. And so if you can kind of hold off and spread that time out a little bit before you do have the dessert, and pick your indulgences. Don't decide that you have to have the potato salad and you have to have the apple strudel and you have to have, so pick your indulgences and set yourself up for what you really want. And if you do want all of the above, portions are really important. And I oftentimes will say this to people: if you are at a party and there are no good choices, or you are really tempted and you really want to eat the hot dog, the portion is truly of what is important. Eat the hot dog, but you don't have to eat the potato salad and the key lime pie and the chocolate covered pretzels that go along with it. So be mindful of your total intake. All right, like I said earlier, don't show up hungry. Worst mistake you can make. We feel fine going into the event. We tell ourselves that we're not hungry until we get there and we see food. And then it all goes out the window. And certainly it goes out the window even faster if you have an alcoholic beverage, because then you are not thinking clearly. So don't show up hungry. That has overeat written all over it. Now, if you don't know what a binge blocker is, definitely go on the website and go to the binge blocker page, which is located off of the Get You Great member site. And there's lots of binge blocker examples, but my best advice is go to your event Plan to have a binge blocker about 2 hours before you go to your event. And a binge blocker is typically 25 grams of protein, 20 grams of healthy fat, and minimal carbs. Examples are a bowl of Greek yogurt, a cup of Greek yogurt, and a tablespoon of peanut butter. Another example might be a canned tuna fish and a half of an avocado. These things are going to fill you up, but they're not going to fill you up where you're feeling really full. But they're going to take the edge off of hunger, and they're going to reduce your hunger cravings, and they're going to keep those hunger hormones at bay. And when I say that, I mean, when you get to the party and you see food, you will not be ravenous, and you will make better choices. So having 1 or 2 chips with dip will be manageable if you show up and you're not starving. Bring something safe to enjoy. Typically, especially summertime gatherings, include a lot of potluck type situations. So be the person that brings a nutritious choice. This way, you know that there is something there for you to eat, and you know exactly what the nutritional information is in that dish. And it doesn't have to be something that is bluntly obvious, obviously healthy. You could remaster something that is not appearing so healthy. You could take something off the blog that might be a healthier version of a salad, a potato salad, a side dish, or dessert. And this could be your kind of safety spot. Okay. And like I said earlier, choose your splurges. Scan the buffet, scan the dinner table, and before you dive in, decide which foods you want to indulge in. So my example for this is, let's just take 4th of July, since that's coming up. You get to the party and you see that there are several choices. But of those choices, of course you want all of them, but of those choices, there's 3 that you never get. There's 3 that are summertime specials. There's 3 that are brought by family members or friends that you don't often see, and they might be traditional summertime 4th of July type side dishes. Obviously, you want to go for those because these are the things that you don't get year round. Obviously, around the holidays, if it was a Christmas situation, you want to pick a Christmas cookie over a regular chocolate chip cookie that you can get year round. So, pick and choose your indulgences. And like I said, you don't have to eat everything. And so going into mealtime, design your plate. As you scan the dinner table or the buffet, don't just pile on mentally first. Decide what you are going to put on your plate. Arrange it mentally in your brain before you arrange it physically on the plate. And what I mean by that is typically when we walk up to a dinner buffet or a picnic table, we tend to zero in on the things that we love the most. And typically at a social get together, it might be the carbs. It might be those starches or those potato salads. So you want to save those for last, because if you are hungry, you're going to load your plate up with what you put on there first, the most. So first piece of advice, go right up to the vegetables first. Go right up to the salad, go right up to the vegetables first, and put that on your plate. Second, proteins. Find where the proteins are. If it's grilled chicken, if it's grilled meat, whatever it is, that is the next thing on your plate. And then lastly, you go to those starches, you go to those potato salads, you go to those pasta salads, because inevitably you won't be able to fit as much on your plate. And this has been a true game changer for me for all holidays. And I mentioned this on podcasts, I mentioned it on other webinars, but this is a trick that I accidentally learned one year when I was making plates for my younger children. When they asked me to arrange their plate, They wanted the mac and cheese, and they wanted the potato salad. And by the time we got to the vegetables, there was very little room left for me to put the broccoli and the salad on their plate. And that made me think, like, wow, this is what we do. This is why we eat so poorly at holidays. So start with the vegetables, add your proteins, and then save your carbs and your starches for last. And this here is why. How many calories are in these things? So most side dishes are about 215 and upward in calories per cup. And I want to remind you that a cup, and I don't really have a true measuring cup here, but this is kind of give you an idea of the size of a cup. 1 cup is this size. So if you have 1 cup of potato salad on your plate, and 1 cup of coleslaw, and 1 cup of egg salad, that's right there is 1,000 calories. So be very mindful of that. And when you do go up there, eyeball it in your head and think, wow, okay, this is a cup the size of what would fit in your hand. And it's more than you think, especially if you end up somewhere where they have those big, beautiful plates. Appetizers, a typical appetizer can be 80 or more calories per bite. And this is no joke. If you think about it, mayonnaise, cream cheese, sour cream, look at the nutritional label. Most of those are two tablespoons are going to be around 80 calories, or 1 tablespoon is going to be around 80 calories. So if you take a cracker and you dip it in some dip that's made with cheese, cream cheese, mayonnaise, between the cracker and the dip, 1 bite, you're looking at 80 to 100 calories. And that includes hummus. So be mindful. So I'm setting you up for this. You get to the party, you have 3 bites of cheesy hummus with crackers, 2 beers at over 100 calories a pop, or Trulies are also 100 calories a pop. And you've already exceeded your caloric goal for the day. So what should you do? Again, be mindful. Skip those appetizers. Just go for the crunchy veggies, the side dishes. Either be mindful, don't do a full cup of each one, or pick your battles. And if you don't log, it's a fog. And this is really where we get choked up, because what you have on your plate is not seemingly as high as it truly is. Now, when it comes to drinks, you want to choose them wisely, of course. Like I said, beer, regular beer could be 100 calories a glass. But if you get into some of the fancier beers, now you are talking a lot more calories. Wine is fine, but again, caloric, and you're getting a lower alcohol percentage. So what I'm saying is 3 glasses of wine can go down really quick. And if you are a Truly lover or a sparkling spritzer lover, watch those calories as well. So a really good piece of advice is bring your own water bottle, throw a couple shots of vodka in it and some sparkling water. 2 shots of vodka is 150 calories and no sugar. Throw some LaCroix in your water bottle and a couple drops of Crystal Light or some juice, lemon juice, lime juice, some fresh strawberries or orange wedges, and now you have yourself a safe drink. So choose them wisely and pay attention to your intake, because if you are at a party, you might not be paying attention to the amount of drinks that you're having, and they will add up. So savor those seasonal treats. And the reason that I have this pizza box here with the big X in it is if you are at a 4th of July party and somebody does order pizza, that's something that you can have year round. Don't waste your calories on pizza if you can have it year round. And if you do, and you do slip or you do tend to go over the amount of calories or portions that you normally would, don't let yourself fall into that slippery path of the screw it, I blew it mindset. And if you're not familiar with the screw it, I blew it mindset, that's when we do really good up until a certain point. And we then talk ourselves into thinking that we've done so much damage that it's not worth sustaining our efforts, and we quit. And what happens then is we overeat because we allow ourselves to have all the other indulgences at the party. Well, what happens between the time that we've given ourselves permission to quit and the time that we leave our party is we've eaten an ungodly amount of uncharted calories. And those calories don't go away at midnight. Those calories don't reset. Those calories must be burned before you go back into your caloric deficit. So be very mindful. Eat until you're satisfied, not until you're stuffed. Savor that food and it will taste better. So often when we go into that screw it, I blew it mindset, or we go into that party thinking that we can't sustain our hard work and our efforts, we tend to eat faster. That guilt creates anxiety within us, and we tend to make poor food selections and eat faster. We right away stop tasting the food. We stop paying attention to the textures and the flavors. If you are slowing down, if you are having a piece of cake because it's your only piece of cake, you're going to enjoy it. And if you are the one having the party and you have all these leftovers, you can have the leftovers later. They're not going anywhere. Or perhaps ask the party host if you could take the rest of your dinner home instead of trying to eat it all there at once. So if you do overindulge, ditch the guilt. It's not worth it. Don't beat yourself up. You will obviously be up a little bit on the scale the next day, but move on. Drink some extra water, deal with the fluctuation, and it will come back down. Incorporate a little bit of extra exercise, go for a little walk, just to boost your mental spirit and get yourself back on track. But the guilt will not do you any good. So expect to see that little spike, but what goes up must come down. And truly, most people will derail because of that fluctuation. There was a study done after the winter holidays in several countries where they found that most people actually gain weight after the holiday because what they do is they get on the scale after Christmas or after the 4th of July or after Easter, and they see that weight spike. And that causes their mental anguish that leads them to derailment. So that spike could just be sodium. That spike could just be the foods that you ate that aren't your typical foods. It will go down. So don't let that number derail you. And most importantly, you want to enjoy. So have a great 4th of July. And I hope you guys have a safe and happy holiday.